Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Camera. Mr. or Mrs. Camera, depending on when you're watching this. The Butch Man here. The most generic, most average, least talented personality on YouTube. Eventually, somebody might take that crown from me, but until then, I'm your guy. We are once again coming to you from the room where pizza and pancakes are the only thing that can be fed to me because that's what fits under the door. I'm hoping one of these videos, maybe we'll spark something. We'll get it viral. We'll get it. Well, I'll settle for bacterial. I'll settle for parasitic. One of these videos can go viral, bacterial, parasitic. I don't mind. My rants, I'll go through the disclaimer every time. Unfiltered, unedited, unapologetic, uninformative. Today, I'm going right into it, and I'm going to be making fun. Let me start off with a disclaimer. If there's a fitness regimen that you follow that gets you off your couch, hey, I'm all for it. It's getting your heart rate up. It's fine. For you. However, today, I'm going to be taking some shots at the spectacular phase of functional exercise that we know as CrossFit. The points I'm going to go over today are going to come from a biomechanical, anatomical, and physiological background to make fun of CrossFit. I'm sorry to you CrossFitters. I am. But what you're doing is funny. There's probably going to be so much info in this one that I'm going to have to make it a two-parter because I have a lot to cover. Hooray! More boring stuff to watch. That's if you are watching it. That's why I don't mind doing the video, because I doubt anyone's even watching it anyway. But if you want to bust your butt doing difficult exercises, work out really hard, most likely injure yourself, and make zero gains while doing it, then CrossFit's definitely for you. I'm maybe some people are into that stuff. I don't judge. That's for certain. Most of the people who do CrossFit announce that they do CrossFit. They're usually wearing t-shirts that say they do CrossFit. And, I mean, that's the only way you can tell they exercise, because if they're wearing a t-shirt, it hides up what little muscle they have anyway. So, maybe that's part of the deal. I don't know. Okay, on to my issues with CrossFit. If CrossFit basically takes someone who hasn't lifted before, teaches them very, very difficult lifts, Olympic lifts, the overhead snatch, the old two-hand snatch, the clean and jerk press, very difficult lifts, has amateurs doing them, and then they have them do them for time. So you're taking a difficult lift that's hard to do once, and then you're trying to bang out 20 of them in a 20-second or 30-second interval. And it's just a huge recipe for injury. You know, if they're using these... First of all, have you ever seen the plates they use? They bounce like freaking rubber balls. They're huge. The freaking 40... A plate that's 5 pounds literally looks like it's 100 pounds. So you have... I'm going to put some pictures in this to describe it, because you'll see. Because it's pretty disturbing. You know, a regular Olympic bar can only hold about 150 pounds of CrossFit plates because they're so wide and freaking made of rubber that, you know, there's just no weight behind them. However, it looks great on a picture. When you're holding 100 pounds over your head and it looks like 700, that's a cool picture. But when you only weigh 140 pounds and have no muscle, most people know. The people who have touched weights before understand. You know, the old metal plates that look like they're heavy, they're heavy. The CrossFit facility is usually pretty dingy also. I mean, again, it's not much in the way of equipment. Some kettlebells, a tire, a sledgehammer, you know, the basics. What are you, a freaking auto parts store, or are you a gym? So, and again, the giant bouncy plates. I keep thinking of a bouncy house and kids freaking doing CrossFit in a bouncy house whenever I say bouncy plates. I don't get out much. When I first joined a gym back in the day, shout out to Stu and Powerhouse Gym, I learned what exercises worked which body parts. I learned how to do the exercises properly. Yeah, I know it doesn't show, but whatever. Look, we're okay. All right, kids? Ow, I'm cramping up. That's my good arm. Who would have thought? So, you learn proper form, you learn the exercises and what muscles are targeted via certain exercises. And you group the exercises by isolation. You work your shoulders and you work you work shoulders separately. You work your chest separately. You work your arms separately, which was, again, a normal physiological breakdown of muscle. Those two things, the exercises, proper form, and the muscles that the exercise utilizes, or vice versa. Those are the two things that CrossFit neglects. It neglects form, and it neglects muscle contraction via isolation. You remember the first time you lifted a weight, you picked it up, and even a simple bench press felt odd. You were like freaking Bambi standing up for the first time. You were wobbly. One arm was lagging behind. Plates are almost falling off. And that's just a bench press. Then you take a little more complicated lifts, shoulder presses, incline presses, things like that. These are all exercises that you eventually got the form down. Then you were able to increase the weight because your muscles were able to your muscles had the memory to do the movement properly. So, CrossFit takes, again, these extremely complicated lifts. If you don't believe me, do a squat and put your hands over your head and watch what happens. You'll lean forward, you'll fall forward. It's tough to do. So now you take amateurs that have never worked out before, and they're teaching them these lifts and doing them for time. And again, that's the issue I have. Plus, what are you working? What are you working? What body part? Olympic lifters that train do exercise. They don't do CrossFit to train for Olympic lifts. That's the thing. CrossFitters don't even train CrossFit for those CrossFit games. Because there's some dudes that are pretty jacked. And there's no way they're doing CrossFit. They're doing exercises to increase their functional strength, but they're not doing CrossFit. I'm sorry to say. Again, disclaimer, if it gets you off your couch and you do exercise, I'm all for it. Believe me, I'm all for it. But people doing things for the sake of just doing them because they're told without understanding anatomy and physiology, they're going to get hurt. There's so many injuries because amateurs aren't doing things properly, and they're doing them incorrectly for time. Just look up YouTube CrossFit fails or YouTube beginner tries CrossFit. Any one of those videos, and you're going to see people freaking holding barbells like a guitar, and the coach is encouraging them. Yep, you got it. You got it. You got nothing. You got freaking tertiary syphilis, it looks like, the way you're walking like that. Another problem I have with CrossFit is their made-up exercises. Their exercises have been around for a long time, so there's no need to make things up. But, okay, take a kipping pull-up. Now again, pull-ups are done either correctly or incorrectly, and pull-ups are done to contract the latissimus dorsi muscles for the most part, and your biceps, depending on if you're overhand grip, underhand grip, you get it. We're not going into that today, but you take a pull-up, a great exercise, an exercise not many people can even do, and now you add the word kipping to them, which is basically a violent freaking seizure type of motion. It looks like you're people doing pull-ups with a cattle prod stuck to them. If I figure out how to edit, I'll add a video of someone doing kipping pull-ups in there just to give you a demonstration, or you just look it up because there's a lot of it and it's absurd. Basically, I'm just picturing a freaking you know what I mean? God, a CrossFit coach teaching someone how to do kipping pull-ups, and then the person does a bunch of them. Yeah, all right, and then the coach saying, well, did you feel that in your latissimus? Did you feel that in your back at all? And they say no, and then the coach goes, great, you did it perfect. I don't understand the point of doing exercises incorrectly. So especially when they're not going to give you any benefit. Unless, I mean, look, if you're a trapeze artist or something, or, you know, one of them freaking dude that flips while they, you know, swing and all that, hey, kipping pull-ups might help. But a pull-up done correctly is a great exercise. A kipping pull-up is made up. They should just call it a made-up. A made pull-up. A pull made up. You know, all the pieces are there. You just got to fine tune that. But why bother with an exercise that ain't even gonna work? Then you get the people who, you know, that support CrossFit and say, well, if there's bad form in everything, and there's always bad form, but, you know, all you need is a good coach to teach you the proper form and you'll be great at CrossFit. Okay, where do I start with that? A good coach to teach you proper form. The proper form in CrossFit is the bad form. Which is it? Is proper form the bad form? Or is it called CrossFit form? Okay, air quotes again. I know. R.I.P. Matt Foley. Actually, his name's Chris Farley, but you know what I mean again. Man, I just can't get this anymore. So, the true oxymoron right there is the proper form and CrossFit. Or good CrossFit coach, I guess, would be the oxymoron. Because if they're teaching this shitstorm of form for exercise, then how are they a good coach? How is it? None of it just makes any sense. I don't feel good. I'd like to know when muscle isolation became such an abnormal way to weight train. When did isolating the proper muscle that you're trying to target become taboo? You know, there's been millions of dollars of research to develop machines that isolate the muscles purposely. They isolate your shoulders, your deltoids, the rear delt, the front delt. They isolate your pectoralis muscle. You know, you can isolate every muscle, your biceps, the brachii, the brachialis. Again, all this money that went into these machines that properly stabilize your body to prevent injury and isolate the muscle via full contraction, full range of motion. These are wonderful things for exercise. So we did that. We put them in gyms, and now these gyms are all over the place. Gyms that, you know, that charge $20 a month. Or you got CrossFit, which has zero equipment, is probably $200 to $300 a month. They have some kettlebells. They don't ring, so that's stupid. And you have basically a very good chance to injure yourself. So I think of it like this. Like, you know, here's a car. Here's a Porsche at a car dealership. A Porsche that's it's brand new. It's perfect. And it's only like $3,000. And the guy's like, here, we have this, or I got something right up your alley. And then he points you to freaking Fred Flintstone's car. Freaking no brakes. You got to use your feet. Big freaking rocks for wheels. Things like that. And then he says, or we fully restored this Fred Flintstone car and it's only $50,000. So what'll it be? The reliable Porsche that's brand new and will be a wonderful car, or this restored shitstorm of a car that Fred Flintstone and Wilma freaking made some babies in, or one at least. You don't know where Pebbles was conceived, so I didn't mean to go there, but again, I stand by it. So that's what makes me think of what a CrossFit gym does. Again, if you're exercising, go for it. I just learn. Just don't hurt yourself. Understand. Again, this is going to be the end of this one, but I'm going to go into another video about why you want to isolate muscles, what happens, the pump, the blood flow, muscle repair, things like that. There's good ways to change it up. If you did CrossFit for a month and then went back to, you know, exercising regularly, fine. Switching up your exercise routine is fine. Again, don't hurt yourself, and these awfully hard lifts that people are doing for time, or freaking throwing a ball at a wall for time. I mean, or using a sledgehammer to hit a tire. Dude, split some firewood. Be ready for winter. I don't know. With that, your pal, the Butch Man, is signing off. Please subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Leave a comment or two. I know this is going to make some CrossFitters mad. That's if anybody really did watch these videos. But, hey, look. Baby steps, pal. No, people. I do not have anything better to do. Stay tuned for part 2 in some time.